Let's fight! Let's fight! Let's fight! A very good evening to each and every one of you, wherever you folks are joining us from tonight. Belly Clark, welcome. Let's fight. We trust that you are great. We trust that you are well. Leon Blair and all the other folks who are joining us tonight. Let's fight, folks. We got to fight. We got to keep on pushing forward. And do let us know if you're hearing our audio loud and clear, folks, because that's how we want to be heard. Stacey Ann and all the other folks joining us. That's how we want to be heard. Good to see each and every one of you, wherever y'all are joining us from this evening. Welcome in the ring, folks. Welcome, Wendy Caesar and Stacey Ann, Claire Alexis, Chamley Richmond, and all the other usual suspects who are joining us. Don't waste time. Share the damn live. Smash the emoji button. You know you're coming for the bacchanal. So let's get to it, folks. Let's get right to it. Let's get right to it. We're fired up at this end. We're ready to go, and we trust that you guys are ready as well. Pace and power, boots on the ground. Do what you gotta do. David and Linda, Renal Warrell, Shauna Fortune, Patricia Rengraves, Andy. Good to have each and every one of you. Welcome to the ring, wherever you're joining us from. Diane Fordyce, Orlando Cook. Welcome in the ring, folks, to each and every one of you, wherever you all are coming in from. Ebon Lamy, we see you. Magnell Barrow, Hazelyn King, Cecile Ogle, Fennell Innes, Diane Relinda, Orwin, I see. We have Linda Book as well. Vaughn May Wilson, good to have each and every one of you. Mavis Davis Wells, Gloria Chester. Gloria, how you doing? Good to have you on the live tonight. Good to see you, Gloria, and Brenda, Ellie Gilbert, Renal Ward, and all the other folks. Guys, we're fired up, and ready to go, and we trust that you guys are as well. That you guys are fired up like us, and you're ready to go. We got the fight card set. We got the fight card set. You ready, folks? You're fired up with me, and ready to go. We got the fight card set. I hope you see that. We ain't playing around. I hope you see we got the fight card set. But let's get some business out of the way very quickly, folks. And I want to recommend to you the Alistair Collins firm. Those are the folks we use when we need a justice of the peace, when we need a commission of votes to affidavits. We're experts, folks. Experts, I tell you. Experts in documentation. All the documentation needs in this regard, as a commission of votes to affidavits, as a justice of the peace. You need to get business done within that context. These guys are going to give you the fix up. 649 6410 649 6410 685 6448 685 6448. They're right down there, folks, on Lamaha Street at the Carrion Mall between Camp and Waterloo Street. Right there between Camp and Waterloo Street on Lamaha Street. The Carrion Mall is close to Waterloo Street. You can't miss it. They're right on the ground floor. Nice AC and so on. Nice AC and so on. If you tell them I send you, they give you a little discount too. If you tell them the INI send you, they are going to give you a little discount on top of that. On top of that. They're going to give you a little discount on top of that. The Alistair Collins firm, folks. If you need a commission of votes to affidavit, a justice of the peace, these guys will give you the fix up. These guys will give you the link up, folks. As I said, Carrion Mall, Camp and Waterloo Street, on Lamaha Street. You can't miss it. You just can't miss it. Good to have each and every one of you with us. Folks, we're fired up. We're ready to go, and we trust that you guys are as well. We see Elderly Gilbert in the live, Gail Allicock, Wendy Denny, Joylyn, and all the other beautiful folks joining us. How you all doing, man? I feel like I let watch the car. How you all doing? Beatrice Selby, Phil Robinson, Charles Nelson, and Yvette Madu, Paul Bourne, Wendy Denny. Good to see each and every one of you. We trust that you guys are well. We trust that you guys are great. Good to see each and every one of you. We're ready to fight Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon tonight. Annalisa, Lovely Queen, Paul Bourne. Good to see you. Thanks to all of you for the things. Thanks for the things. Claudette Barrow, Claudette Bubble. You know yourself. Thanks for the thing. Thanks for the thing. All the folks who keep us moving along. Martha Harris, Average Small, Wendy Denny, thanks for the things, folks. Basil Clark, Michaela. Good to have you guys here with us. We're fired up, ready to go. Look, some of the things we're tracking. We are fired up and we are ready to go. Look, some of the issues we're tracking. Trump lawyer got to do some things. Folks, I waited for this indictment. I waited whole day. We got Professor Shamir Ali working the back channels for us. Since the pin drop, we want to know. We got some information there for you guys. Also, the Muhammad factor and politics. We will be talking about that. The Nazir Shal Muhammad. The Muhammad factor and politics. We can be talking about that. This little baby. So sad what has happened here. So sad what has happened here. Let justice be done. Let justice be done. We were talking about this little girl, this little baby. Father have his mercies. And then we go over to Grenada, bottom left. Declan Mitchell, the Prime Minister of Grenada, he wants to see some things done in the region. We can be talking about that. But Linden is where we make a start tonight, folks. Linden is where we make a start tonight. And if you watched our program this morning, this midday, we've been asking the question, what happened in the schools? What is happening in our schools? That's the opening tonight. For those of you who may have missed it, yesterday there was a gang invasion of Harmony Secondary School in Region 10 there in Linden. Harmony Secondary gangs invaded the school. Can you imagine that? We get a passa as a country. So passa. Gangs invaded the school. If you didn't get a chance to see it earlier, take a look and take a listen. The teachers were on the protest line. And one of them spoke with the vice chair of Linden, Mr. Mark Goring. A teacher spoke to him. And I want to thank Mark for always being on the ground, always being in these issues, and giving good representation to the people of Linden. And also want to thank all the other councillors in the council there, the Regional Democratic Council 10, ably led by the one and only Darren Adams. And Darren is a heavyweight on the ground. They're always working. I like how he's pulling along. Mark Gorin. Yeah. Walk you out, Darren. Walk you out. Take a look, folks, and take a listen.
Put their body to one is putting her body to block it.
Celebrating International Women's Month, and our men are harassing.
Agnes, I'm here. I'm live, of course, updating the public. Could you give the public a synopsis of what took place yesterday? Miss, could you give the public what took place yesterday? What transpired?
Live?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay. Yesterday, we had an incident at school whereby we had two students of our school. They had a run-in. And one, he got hit in his mouth. And so I was investigating the matter. When investigating the matter, I found that they had an old grievance 2 weeks ago that they brought to the school. However, trying to solve the problem, I separated them and I told the boy who was the aggressor to go and bring his parents so that we can deal with the matter. He left, but when he returned with a group of boys. They stood outside of the compound, and at that time, after he recognized what was happening, we hired a car to send the other child home, which is the victim, home. When these boys saw that this boy was not going to come through the gate walking, and he was going to go into a car, they ran into the compound, up the step. By the time we recognized what was happening, the children were saying, close the door, these boys are coming with weapons. We did try to close the door. Myself and a few teachers, we tried bracing the door. However, these boys ran up the step and they kicked the door open. Hit the teacher to her face. So she had to go to the hospital for medical. Whole one of the students at gunpoint, at the scissors. He had a scissors to the child's neck. Slap up another one. One of them on the road, he got a wood, hit the child behind his head. The child is hospitalized, vomiting. We don't know the seriousness of it right now. He's being observed. So the situation is the teachers, the parents, the students, we all take a stand that we need police protection at the school from 8 to 2, Monday to Friday, because our lives are at stake. The children's life are at stake. We also want the fence that we have at the back there to be higher because they jump that fence. They skate ever so often and coming to the school. We're asking that we have welfare officers stationed at the school. Many of the times these things can be catered for if we have welfare officers. We gotta stop teaching, stop the delivery of the curriculum to deal with these issues. It is taken away, it is tiresome, it's burdensome. We need ministry intervention. We had to call off tests today because of the situation that we are experiencing. Our teachers are traumatized. Yes. Many of them cried all night. I cried. Many of them saying, listen, I can't come to school, I am nervy. It is ridiculous. These children, and it's not children that came into the school to represent the young man. These are adults.
Okay.
So we're asking for help. Whatever help we can get, we need that help. That's the way we can help our children.
Okay. There's a situation we seen just last week. We saw a teacher in Borbis area got attacked the same way. And this is a situation that is plaguing, you could say, the country at large. And something really need to be done about this, right? Where adults is coming into school and injuring teachers and students. And it's time that, not just this school, tomorrow it might be another school.
Exactly.
Right? And everyone at some point need to take a stand. I can say for this, the RD City Council is behind the teachers and the students. We concerned for the welfare of the students and the teacher. I know late last year would have raised a number of issues with this school in terms of the environment, the teaching conditions, and all this stuff. The council, on the start of September, we would have visited all the schools. Each councillor visited a number of schools in the area and reported stuff that we would have come and interviewed the teachers and asked what you want to see, what repairs, what improvement you want to see for 2023 as we was preparing our 2023 budget. So we expecting that after delivering those recommendations to the administration, that a number of those stuff would be addressed, right? But this situation currently, this is a situation that really need the ministry intervention. We need the police intervention so that we can rectify this. All stakeholders should be have all hands on deck in dealing with this situation, because tomorrow might be Mackenzie.
Again, I want to thank the Regional Vice Chair, Mark Gorin, out of Region 10, for that footage and those comments. That's what's happening, folks. That is what is happening. Why do people be twiddling with a thumb? That's what's happening. You don't think we need intervention? You can't find a police when you really need one. But let it perceive I step out of line. Or Christopher Jones. Let it perceive Christopher Jones got 2 barbecues in the house that don't belong to him. 500 police will descend in the community where we live. But when they call in for police, when police is really needed, can be found. Look how many police there were. You remember MASH? Guarding the synthetic track. But when you really need them, and we heard the same thing from that teacher, police, they call the police laughing. Student beating teacher, again, laughing. Yvette Madu, Hazel Chase. Some of the things we're following on the fight card for. Moving on, that's the opener. That is the opener. The gangs which invaded Harmony Secondary School in Linden. Teachers took to the street. You heard their concerns there. Moving on, folks, we bring it in internationally. Some of the things we're following at our end might be close to you. Share it down and high. We smash the emoji. You share the live yet? Bernadette, St. Henry, Carrian, you share the live yet? Trump's lawyer, Evan, he was ordered to hand over his notes. He better hand over when the Americans come knocking, you better hand over. For we were bracing for an indictment today. It's been that way for the last 24 hours. We were bracing. But today, they met and the grand jury demanded of Evan Cochran, former President Trump's main lawyer, to hand over all his legal notes pertaining to the Trump case and the documents found at Mar-a-Lago. Produce it. Produce it. That's what the folks are telling the lawyer. You got a little time to do so. You know, the Guardian out of the UK is telling us that his main lawyer, again, Evan Cochran, who was involved in turning over classified marked documents at Mar-a-Lago Resort to the Justice Department last year, must provide his notes and audio transcripts to the criminal investigation after a federal appeals court rejected twin efforts to block the order. They tried. Trump tried. Trump gonna try. Like the PPP, he's gonna try. But he gotta hand over the notes. He gotta hand over the notes. The people want, the folks want the notes. Trump is problems, you know. Trump is problems. I love him in a sense. Never dull moment. I love him to the extent you could love a PPP. Never dull moment. When all else fails, try something. Valletta, Brummel, Aaron Squires, Paul, Wendy Denny, when all fails. Come for you, try something. Try something. Moving on. Moving on. They're trying to limit racism, folks, by limiting racial teachings. North Carolina House passed a bill limiting racial teachings. Huh? But none of them, not all racial teachings, I would have it. I would have you know, occurs in a formal setting. Not all. You know, in this one Guyana, we're so one-sided. We only hear racism and its likes from some people. I could call so many names. What was the young fella name? Sotar, Auntie Saki. They say the most vilest things against people. And then you come out the next day and pretend you're drunk and they give a little watered down apology and life goes on. Nigel Price. You say a couple of things and life goes on. North Carolina passed legislation limiting racial teachings. If night could turn to day, you know why he was going to the PPP. You know why, and then they turn to the African Guyanese, the Afro Guyanese, and say, well, you look different. You got to fix that. Got to fix that. I saw Mr. Aubrey Norton put forward a proposal for a national policy limiting discrimination. These are the efforts we got to pursue. The efforts we got to pursue. Some of what we're following internationally. Boris besieged. He got the old problems like Trump. It's interesting to see how they're operating as though they're on twin tracks. You know, he's dealing with Partygate. And he's now signaling that he might not accept the findings of Partygate. So Trump-esque to me. That is so Trump-esque. He might not accept the findings. Well, good for you. The findings are what the findings are. And we're looking forward to seeing what the folks there come up with. You know, folks are saying if he is indicted, quote unquote, on the findings of Partygate, he should step down as an MP. I thought he doesn't step down. So you can resign as PM, but you're still in Parliament. The perks must be good to be an MP. That side, the perks must be real sweet. He stepped down as MP. He stepped down as PM, but he's still an MP. But probably onto something. Hazel Chase, candidate in Energy. Sharon Castillo Edwards. We see you folks out there. We recognize you all. Moving on the fight card, folks. Moving on. International news. Moving on. Uganda, they tell us, hold on. Uganda, them boys rushing. Them boys want to hear the other story, you know. Are you hold up? Hold up, don't rush the brush. You don't got dab. Uganda, they're telling us, is set to pass what is being considered the country's worst, or rather the world's worst legislation. It's anti-LGBTQ. Yep, anti-LGBTQ. It got some strong punishments in here, and the UN pleading with them, pull back this thing. This is not progressive at all. But I think Uganda is going to assert itself as a sovereign nation, even in this way. The folks are saying it is the worst in the world where legislation is concerned, anti-LGBTQ legislation. Right? They passed it as a bill. I'm now picking up on that. Oh, the events are so fast moving. Propose here in this first iteration, they're telling us, right? Approved by lawmakers in Uganda, there's the offense of aggravated homosexuality. Here's the story here, man. Aggravated homosexuality. Aggravated. That's what they're saying. Aggravated homosexuality. Right? That's one of the offenses. It now carries the death penalty. Aggravated homosexuality applies to cases of sex relations involving those infected with HIV, as well as minors and other categories of vulnerable groups. According to the bill, a suspect convicted of attempted aggravated homosexuality can be jailed to up to 14 years, and the offense of attempted homosexuality is punishable by up to 10 years. The offense of homosexuality is punishable by life imprisonment. The same punishment prescribed in a colonial penal code criminalizing sex acts against the order of nature. So Uganda is like way out there. Way out there. And as I said, the UN is now asking them to block this bill. Worst in the world legislation, they says, as LGBTQ. Yep, that's what's going on in Uganda, folks. Stay woke. Keep you folks in the know. This one here is what the boys are trying to push for us. The more we talk about this, how many of you got children? And when you heard your spouse was pregnant, they say, I hope it's a boy. I hope it's a girl. I got 3 boys. 3 boys! Strong. Oh, this last one here. He's but 3 in 1. He has energy. Is either he's full of energy or I get it all quick. 3 in 1. 3 boys, folks. Right? I've been fighting for that girl, but it seems elusive. Those of you who got girls, let me know the secret. Let me know the secret. Right? But they're telling us now, they can give you the prescribed or desired sex of the baby. And it's interesting. They say it's not difficult. They say it's not difficult at all to give you, Yolanda, the desired sex. Yolanda says she has, am I reading it right? Yeah, 4 girls and 1 boy. Congrats to you. Congrats to you. 4 girls and 1 boy. And all the other folks, did you get the desired sex? Right? I didn't ask if you get the desired sex that you. You understand what I mean? You understand? This thing is easy. They have found a way, folks, to separate the X chromosomes from the Y. Who knew? That's what they're telling us. Science is overtaking us. They say they have found a way to separate the X chromosomes from the Y. And you don't want to hear this. They say there's an 80% chance now that they can give you, in a very simple way, the desired sex of the baby that you want, in a very, very simple way. They say it's not even very costly. Right? They have found a way to separate the X chromosomes from the Y. Y is female offspring. Sorry, X is female offspring. The Y is the male offspring. Yeah, and this is what this study has recently revealed. Of course, you've got some ethics issues that they're trying to work out, right? They said they're looking to looking at selecting embryos, right, without reasons such as a sex-linked disease. Selecting embryos without a reason such as sex-linked disease is illegal in many countries. So, of course, there's some ethics, right? They have found this way, as I said, to separate the X chromosome from the Y. A small study involved 1,317 couples with 105 men in the group that used the sperm sorting process. This sperm sorting process found it to be 59 couples wanted girls, and it resulted in a 79.1% accuracy. So the thing works. That's what the folks are telling us. I don't want to get into all of the wonky stuff. But they're telling us the thing works. But listen to this. Here's how they're telling us. Sing that they're able to differentiate the male chromosome from the female. Listen to this. Also, Cortez. Listen to this. They're telling us the X chromosome, which is the female offspring, the X chromosome is heavier. Is heavier than the Y chromosome. So you tell me, since in the sperm stage, women heavy? Women heavy? I was discussing this with my wife prior to coming on. I said, look at this information here. What do you think? She said, well, she understands why that may be so, because she has read something that says you are formed from your butt first. You are formed from your butt first. So it gotta be that when your butt being formed, you're heavier. The women heavier. So this is the sorting process, you know, the way, the X chromosome from the Y. They say the Y, the women, the female is heavier. You see story here? You see story? So those of you who've been trying to throw off that weight, women, it's long now. You learn the troubles. It's long now. You have any size. I know what you're trying to do. It's in the genes. I will done, so let's move on. The truth hurts, you know. I will done, I want to hear about the weight part. Doesn't want to hear about the weight part. Moving on, folks. As encouraged by our done. As encouraged. Moving on. Look at some of what we follow now around the region. Look at some of what we follow around the region. You all know you're unable. It was love, not at first sight. It was love at first kidney. It was love at first kidney. A woman, they tell us, I believe it's in Antigua and Barbuda, made a donation of a kidney to a man who really needed it. 6 years after the couple got married. I don't know if they're going to sort it now. You know, chromosome sorting, but 6 years after donating a kidney, they got married. Love, not first sight. Antigua and Barbuda it is. Love at first kidney. Well, if I gotta give you the kidney, you better say I do. You better say I do, right? About a woman involved in Antigua and Barbuda's first successful kidney transplant celebrated another milestone quite recently. This is the couple, right? They got married. Hayden Brown and Marsha Hurst. 6 years after Marsha Hurst donated a kidney to Hayden Brown, the pair wedded last Saturday. Of course, friends, family, and favorites, loved ones turned out to witness the celebration. The transplant took place on January 16, 2017. Of course, in Antigua and Barbuda. St. John's Medical Center. Yep, successfully. The folks got married. Yeah. If I give you a kidney, you better step up the back. They are giving you the kidney. You walk nothing this one. Said, Jessa? No, I tie you down. One way the next. Tie you down. Give my wife my whole life. Moving on, folks. Moving on. Look at some else of what we're following, guys. Some other information. Businessman, they're telling us. This is in Trinidad. In Tobago, this is the 4th fatality, accident fatality in Tobago. The 4th. They don't want it to go up. They don't want to go up. Denbert Alfred, a businessman in Tobago, lost his life when his vehicle crashed. He said his daughters are taken very high. Of course. The fourth. How much is it for us? How many road fatalities for the year for us? We've lost count by now. Tobago could tell us it's the 4th. Oh, slow down, folks, and let me arrive alive. We've been talking about water woes in the Caribbean, Jamaica, Barbados of recent. Now the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, they're adding their voice to this discussion. Right? They're adding this voice and they're recognizing, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, that we got a problem. Houston, Caribbean, we got a problem. We have a problem. Right? And one of the things they're pointing out is that it has been, according to the OECS, it has been woefully slow in implementing the Sustainable Development Goal number 6 regarding water and sanitation for all by 2030. So that's what they're saying. This is part of the problem. Lots of the thinking that has gone into water conservation and preservation has not been put into practice. And that's why we're seeing some of the problems we're seeing as a Caribbean. Folks, that problem drawing nigh, you know. Trinidad, I'm hearing some chatter in Trinidad about water woes. We are the land of many waters. So some of y'all saying, we can't be thirsty here. But hold up. We're the land of many money too. But the oil pumping out there. Have your life changed since we started pumping? Has it changed? Oh. It changed? Down in Jamaica, they're serious about law reform. They are serious. Andrew Holness, Bruce Golding, I'm so way back. Andrew Holness installed the commission today to deal with law reform, a 14-member commission headed by Canadian Professor Richard Albert. The people mean business. They're just talking the talk, you know. They walk in the walk as well. They walk in the walk as well. You remember the RAS went here? You remember that? The RAS, they were here in Jamaica. They're in Grenada now. They're in Grenada. The regional security team. We ever get what we wanted out of them? Did we? Did we ever get what we wanted out of them? They're in Grenada. And Decon Mitchell, this young Prime Minister of Grenada, he's been making the point that together we got to battle transnational crime. Yep. Together. And it's very important. You remember that local case we have here with the money laundering? 4 billion, 12 companies in China. Small family. Get whole. But the big fishes get away. Transnational crime. So who got the capacity to go beyond the borders? Do they have the political will or institutional will to go beyond the borders? That's another story. I remember the Chinese embassy offering them some help. Have they taken it? We hear nothing. Like case gone cold. Once you meet the border. Don't try to make me something. So Decon Mitchell, Prime Minister of Grenada, was making the point that together, but this government don't want to get in there. They're talking with the opposition on these issues. No. Not even out of court, you see. But just wanted you to know, the RAS, or the RASS, however you pronounce it, they were in Grenada, folks. They were here. Did we get what we wanted out of them? Remains to be seen. Moving on the fight card, folks. Moving on. When the 5-9-12, we coming down real quick. We coming down real quick. Look, story here now. We come home. Look, story wrong this side. Look at what we're following. Brace it over, folks. Pocketori. Brace it over. Look what we're following. On the ground. Robbery suspect. Randy Jerome was shot in London today. They said this was an engagement with police officers and he was shot in the process. Folks, Folks, crime, I ain't got too many ways about it, you know. You see? Something is look glittery from the outside. But when you come close, it ain't worth it. Turn from a life of crime, PPP. Turn from a life of crime. Too many of our young people have been caught up like this. Too many. Much too many being caught up like this. Another person is listed as wounded who was a part of this exchange of gunfire with police. It's like the wild, wild west. And I find Lyndon Mabanchon stepping up a little bit. I find this stepping up a little bit. We got to watch that. They're telling us that an intelligence-led police operation was conducted which apprehended several male suspects who were at a house in Wizrock. According to the report, the men were suspected of committing armed robberies in Linden. During the operation, the men opened fire on police ranks. Opened fire on them, who returned fire in the process, wounding 2 suspects. Of course, you know Randy Jerome succumbed, and he was of 1 mile Linden. Ronaldo Chapman, they're telling us here, they're telling us it's critically wounded. He was wanted for robbery, underarms, and rape. But he's receiving medical attention at the Linden Hospital Complex. Young people, turn from a life of crime. PPP, turn from a life of crime. That's some of what we're following. Yep. FYI, bring you up to speed what's happening. Folks, this is a sad one. Right? Aurea Grazandi, 5 months old, they tell us. Was it 5 months old? Who was suspected to have fallen out of daycare and died. The postmortem examination today told us hemorrhage and compression to the neck was the cause of death. You know, I don't want to infer into that. God knows, because my mind started running when I read that. Hemorrhage and compression to the neck. Compression to me is pressing down the neck. No, so that's why I don't even want to go into that. 7 months old. Thank you, Facebook user. You see how you folks are? 7 months old. Hemorrhage and compression to the neck. What does that mean to you? I don't want my mind to start making up things. But compression means force applied to the neck. Yep. 7 months old. Waiting for additional reporting on this. Gloria Fraser. What happened in this country? It's like confusion powder sprinkled over it since August 2nd, 2020. Confusion powder. Michael Reed, Rosetta Barton, Hazelyn King, Yvonne Daly, Alison Cortez. My mind is leading me in a certain direction when I read about hemorrhage and compression to the neck. I don't want to take it in that direction, but I'm getting a certain conclusion. Heather Rowe, Gisela Roman. I'm getting a certain, I'm arriving at an ineluctable conclusion. Yep, thoughts and prayers go out to that family. It can't be easy, folks. It can't be easy. Thoughts and prayers go out to them. Holy Zandi, hemorrhage and compression to the neck. That's what the PI said. The P, postmortem examination. Yep. Moving on the fight card, folks. Moving on the fight card. Respect and manners. A look story here now. Look story here now, good folks. Good people. Ramadan, they tell us, happy Ramadan. Starts tomorrow officially. Officially begins tomorrow. Prayers start tonight. So we want to say, you know, happy Ramadan to our Muslim brothers and sisters. You know, there isn't a culture, Eleanor Roosevelt said, from which we cannot learn. There isn't a culture. They tell us this was the period when the angel Gabriel gave the prophet the Quran. You know, there isn't a culture, a religion from which we cannot learn. We say happy Ramadan to our Muslim brothers and sisters. The moon has been sighted. Begins tomorrow. Happy Ramadan, folks. Pray for us. Pray for this country and pray for all of us while you guys are at it. Happy Ramadan. Yep, that's what the CIOG told us today. Moving on the fight card, good folks. Local government elections. Getting hot. Getting hot. Boots got to be on the ground. Boots got to be on the ground. Some report coming out of Demerara Waves today. They're telling us that Nazir Shah Mohammed is on the PPP's ticket. T. Mohammed, Boardness, the father, Nazir Shah Mohammed, has officially declared he's going to be running with the PPP for local government election. Paradigm reporting by Demerara Waves said he's close to retirement, but he's not going to get fully involved in politics. I think personally, for a man of Shah Mohammed's stature, it should be national politics. Don't chinks, come fools. For a man of his stature, national politics, stake a claim there. You see, stake a claim there. But I'm watching this because you see, lots of people get one sense of what local government system is. But I'm happy he's coming close at whatever level. Because when we see what local government is, he'll be able to go to the other sahib and say, it's happening here. How things like this, 21 months in, 22, 23, 3 years, 4 years in, how the systems are broken as not being fixed. Where the money going? Where the oil money going? So they tell us, Nazir Shah Mohammed is putting his hat in the race. He has declared he's going to be on the PPP's ticket for local government. Who vex? Folks, I tell you something. Stop watching people. Stop watching people. People are watching you. People are watching you. If you want to run in a race, run. Stop planning and coming halfway. You got something on your bucket list to do it. Stop watching people. What is the neighbor going to say? Who is body going to say? Nobody living a life for you. Live your life for yourself. Right? T. Mohammed, Azruddin Mohammed, this is father. I see some of y'all saying, I never hear but no Shah Mohammed. This is Azruddin Mohammed's father. He went with the PPP. Some of you chinks you want to be identified with this political party. Oh, you want to be identified. You want to be identified. Do what you got to do. Let the chips fall where they may. Right? I'm looking forward to running against the PPP and beating them. Now that I see Shell in the race, I'm going out and campaign more bad now. Fired up, ready to go. Stop looking at people. Leave that to us. Nobody looking at you. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do, folks. Throw your body, throw your belly. Congrats to Nazir Shah Mohammed. Do what you got to do, my brother. Give it your best. Give it your best. Welcome. Welcome to me, even at the local government level. This is politics. Once you're looking to influence a system, that's politics. The art of influence. So welcome, my brother. Welcome. Welcome. Give it your best. Give it your best. That's all we can ask for. The trench crappers, the jackabat, tadpoles, and cricketers. All of them, the whole animal farm. The whole animal farm. This country sweet. Guyana real sweet. Real sweet. The tadpoles and the cricketers. The tadpoles and the cricketers. Yeah. You know, look, let me let this story for another time. Let me let it for another time. Confusion powder. I tell you, since August 2nd, 2020, it's like they sprinkle it. It's like they sprinkle it over us. Confusion powder. Huh? With a tinge of purgatory in our skin. With a tinge purgatory in our skin, folks. And look at this. Yeah? Flooding. Gangs in school. Student and relatives beating teacher. You know, you name it. This country. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening to Jamaica. The economist said we ain't going no place. Like I can tend to believe him. I don't like siding with nobody against my country. But I can tend to believe him. Folks, that's some major flooding at Grove on the East Coast. Civil Defense Commission is telling us that their emergency shelter has been activated for those persons who are in harm's way. The emergency shelter It's one thing to the next in the 592. I can't keep up. I can't take it. We done with flooding. You see things in them boys. Look story now. They killed Big Auntie. They killed Big Auntie. A pensioner was discovered murdered. A Big Auntie, her body, they so coarse and crude. They dumped the body on a garbage heap. Oh, Father. Folks, I give up cussing, but something just nearly come out, so. Pop. They dumped the woman's body on a garbage heap like she was nothing. Neighbors recall, hear this. This is Guyana. Neighbors recall hearing Big Auntie screaming, murder, murder. Nobody never checked. Neighbors, the reports tell us, recalled hearing shouts, screams coming from her house. She lived a short distance from where they discovered her body. Screaming, murder, murder. Right? 88-year-old Patricia Patsy Boville was screaming, murder, murder, they say on Saturday night. A day before she was reported as missing. Her nude body was discovered by her niece today, wrapped in a bed sheet and dumped in a pile of garbage in Russell Street. You know what I'm saying? She hollering. So I leave and go in my daughter's room on the right, and I heard Granny hollering, murder, murder. After that, I didn't hear nothing no more. That's what one neighbor said. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family, friends, and loved ones of Patricia Patsy Boville. 88 years old, and you got to transition life in such a horrific fashion. Even the old and seen a graceful death in this country. On every front, I can tell you, it's like confusion powder gets sprinkled in the 592. We can't even categorize this one. We saw Polari Joe now meeting with both side management team. And this is a little thing for me. And telling them there's now going to be an official investigation. Jesus. When you have a shop, you aren't really showing up, When we send letter, make phone call, you aren't sending letter, making phone call. Folks, look, let's move on. Just let me move on. I know farm when I see it. I know farm when I see it. They ain't making sense. Let me move on. Problem! Let's move the hell on. Let me just move on. Let me just move on. Doing stuff out of farm. Yeah, I'm going to try and with Doc a long time now. Yeah. Richard Van Bush Charles. He's partnering a company that deals in fuel. Send them boys come in. Oh God, they're really trying. They're really trying with Dr. Richard Van Bush. They're really trying, Martha Harris, Vanessa Wardeen, Asha. They're trying. There's all kinds of things. Today, magistrate choked another one of the attempts. They're trying to say how they were involved in falsifying Atlantic Fuels, falsifying invoices. Magistrate said, get yes. That is my rendering of things. Pack of nonsense. Who rig election? 3 years now, you can't get one conviction. When you are written out, right on the nose, you couldn't see. Now they're trying with Van West Charles. You're supposed to own nothing in this country, though. I'll make myself comfortable. Because of your hue, you see, and your coarseness, you must know nothing. How are you going to own something? Right? Hewers of wood and fetchers of water. Tenants in your own country. That's where you got to be. Dependent. When you're independent, there's a problem. So since them boys come in, they try with Atlantic fuels, one thing to the next, Donna Brandt. Wicked, stinking, dirty. One thing to the next. Magistrate throw the damn case. Rightfully so. Pack of nonsense. Pack of nonsense. Who vex? Come with properness. Your case will get through out. The truth hurts. Whole pack of nonsense. I able with y'all. I able with y'all. Damage in hell. Photo of the day. Alien Lewis, also known as DCL. Alien Lewis was involved in a very abusive relationship. And the fella, apparently, from what we heard, went too far. A few days ago, I saw photographs with her eyes swollen. They're telling us there was a restraining order against the fella. You know? When a woman bear you children, oh, the least you could do is try to protect her. Love her even more. Oh, skites. Reports burst across the front pages and headlines on social media. A couple of days ago in Alberton, she stabbed him. This morning she was granted, some reports say 300,000, some say 150. She was granted bail. Let's put it at that. She was granted bail. That much we can agree on. Alien Lewis, also known as Dacia, she paid in magistrate's court today for unlawfully killing Eason Hamilton, and she was granted bail. I see there's a petition going around for them to stop the mama guy and just let the young lady go. I saw there's a petition going around. Confusion powder. We're going to be watching this one, folks. Keep your eyes, a keen interest in this one, on where it goes. Keen interest, the closer. I can tell you about these cases. Election Petition 88. There was a hearing today. They're telling us that the Court of Appeal has reserved judgment on the matter for now. But there are so many things. It's like with Atlantic fuel. To get some political fodder. Oh, they bring COI. Bare nonsense. All of these cases in the courts. I hear Anil abusing all the magistrates the other day. We ain't getting no conviction. You don't do your work. Oh, he's going to the store and get evidence now. He's going to buy evidence in the store. No evidence whatsoever of any wrongdoing. No wonder the cases can't go no place. No wonder. Well, as I said, Petition 88 came up for hearing today. I want to thank Roy Ford, attorney at law, senior counsel. I want to thank international lawyer Selvin Peters and the entire team for all the work they're doing. For all the work they're doing on these cases. For all the work. Senior counsel Roy Ford, welcome, sir, and a very good night to you. Senior counsel Ford, thanks for joining us. For those of us who've not been following so keenly, tell us which of the elections petition the courts looked at this morning and put it into context for us. What was this morning's hearing about?
Thank you for having me on your show. Today, the Court of Appeal dealt with the appeal in relation to petition number 88. This was a petition filed in the names of petitioners in which we were challenging the validity of Section 22 of the Election Laws Amendment Act and Order 60, which was the order under which the recount was held. In relation to this matter, this was a very important appeal because it is part of the process of ensuring that the PPP ascension to government is subjected to judicial scrutiny. In relation to this appeal, we argue today that Section 22 is unconstitutional, and I will first deal with Section 22 by itself. The argument before the court today was that Section 22 was unconstitutional because of our Articles 163 of the Constitution. Articles 163 of the Constitution specifically conferred on Parliament, the National Assembly, the power to pass laws dealing with the manner and conduct in which elections are held. It is our submission that having enacted Section 22, which conferred on GCOM the authority to act when there are difficulties, essentially transferred the power to determine how and when elections are held and the circumstances under which they're held to the Elections Commission in a manner not contemplated by the Constitution. So that was the basis of the argument that we submitted to the court today. Order 60 is connected to that because Order 60 was the basis under which the recount was actually held. It was under Section 22 that GCOM proceeded to put in place and to make Order 60 and then to execute the national recount, which in effect established a system, a scheme under which votes were recounted, recalibrated, reassessed, and presented and formed the basis of the recount and then the declaration of Irfan Ali as the president of this republic. So it was on that basis that those challenges were made, both in relation to Section 22 and Order 60. We also proceeded to examine, for the court's benefit, for judicial scrutiny and to subject it to a decision to be made by the Court of Appeal. This is having regard to the fact that the Chief Justice ruled against us, ruling that Section 22 was valid and Order 60 was perfectly proper. These are fundamental positions that we disagree with. We articulated before the Court of Appeal this morning something that we believe was of added significance and of great importance and value, having regard to the issues that the court had to raise and be dealt with today. And what I'm speaking about specifically is the issue of what was the impact of the recount held under Order 60, and by extension, obviously, on the basis of Section 22, on the results of the election. We were able to articulate in a very decisive way, Sherrod, the issues concerning this. We were able to point out to the court that it was our view, based on the judgment delivered by the Chief Justice, that there was no reference to the evidence that was presented before the court. We presented before the court evidence in the petition, which was not considered by the Chief Justice, of the fact that the petition attached exhibits, one, showing that in relation to the declarations made, for example, in Region 4, that it was substantially different from the recount tabulation and the recount form used to decide the results of the elections. Those matters were not considered by the Chief Justice. And in the context of the elections as a whole, we believe that the introduction of the recount, the use of the recount, were therefore unlawful. And we tied it in relation to the actual evidence and to what happened, in relation to establishing clearly that there was an unlawful intervention and conduct by GCOM in the management and execution of the elections as a whole, of which the recount was a critical component of it, because it was upon that purported basis that the results were declared. They were not declared on the basis of any statement of polls, even though you hear talks by the PPP of calling for statement of polls and statement of polls. The statement of polls in the context of what happened by GCOM and was done by GCOM, and upon the basis upon which the elections results would have been declared, is of no moment right now. So I believe we have done our part. We have done our job splendidly, thanks to the team and my office, thanks to my support from Mr. Selwyn Peters, thanks to the support of John Jeremy and their chambers and offices, both in Trinidad and Tobago and Canada, and other lawyers around the world who would have provided support, information, and discussion. We've been able to present what I believe is a formidable case, which should lead to a decision being made in our favor.
Thanks very much, Senior Counsel, for that response. Senior Counsel Ford, in this morning's hearing, Senior Counsel Astafan made the assertions that some officers at GCOM were actually guilty of misconduct. You responded to that. Here is that statement by Senior Counsel Astafan, and then I want to have your comments at the end of it.
I just want to make one comment, that the difficulties that was being experienced in Guyana and upheld by the respective courts, including the CCJ, were difficulties that prevented the declaration of the results of the election because of the misconduct or conduct of election officers who were seeking, forgive the pun, to modify the results of the election to suit one side. That is what GCOM was confronted with, Madam Chancellor. Your Honor, I'm sorry. But we don't wish to respond.
Your Honor, in relation to the statement made by my learned friend, learned Senior Counsel Astafan, esteemed counsel as he is, the statement that there was a misconduct or conduct by electoral officers, there's no evidence before this court in relation to that, Your Honor. No affidavit was filed by the Elections Commission, and I believe that that is a most unwarranted statement by counsel at this stage.
I had to respond to Senior Counsel Astafan in relation to that statement. That statement was made by Senior Counsel Astafan in response to my proposition to the court that the issues of difficulties were subject to determination for the court. Mr. Astafan was arguing or attempting to argue in that statement to the court that the difficulties that the GCOM encountered was in relation to staff acting improperly, staff engaging in conduct which could be constituted as misconduct in relation to the conduct of the elections, and that the staff of GCOM were acting in a manner to suppress the will or the results of the elections. I had to respond very sharply to him to point out to the court that there was no decision ever made by any court which indicated that there were ever acts of conduct which constituted misconduct by GCOM that necessitated the action of GCOM to act in the manner in which this did by having a recount. There was simply no evidence filed by GCOM or any other party to this appeal. There was simply no affidavit evidence laid over by the court, and there's absolutely no decision made by the Caribbean Court of Justice, by the Court of Appeal, by any High Court judge, which dealt with any act of misconduct. These persons are charged, they're languishing, awaiting the conclusion of magistrates' court proceedings, which has not been done. We had the farce of a purported commission of inquiry, which I believe up to now, there's no formal report out, but having regard to the evidence that I would have heard, there's nothing indicating, absolutely nothing that could properly be construed and fairly and objectively assessed by those commissioners, which would indicate any act of misconduct on the part of any officer of GCOM. So that is my response in relation to this issue that was raised by Mr. Astafan.
Some of this next question may have been answered earlier, but I wanted to put it into context for Guyanese. Why is this case so important, still very important to Guyanese, or should be important to Guyanese?
I could easily identify at least two reasons. There certainly will be more reasons why this case continues to be of ongoing and continuous importance to Guyanese. First, having regard to the manner in which GCOM conducted itself, this can easily happen again if these provisions are left on the statute books. That is the very first issue. Secondly, we need to exhaust the legal procedures without restriction or limitation on any other lawful measure that can be employed to see the removal of the People's Progressive Party from government. The election petition is an intra-legal process that can possibly lead to the result that we want. And this result is not simply for a legal conclusion that is necessarily barren and just filled with legal arguments, but this is a real issue. This is a real issue. And the Guyanese people must continue to understand and appreciate that the current problems that they face, the current agonies that they endure, the cost of living hardships, the killings, the lack of hope, the failure of the system to work effectively to remove inequalities and inequities, the failure of the system to ensure that the small man could have a fair chance, that people across the country could prosper in this purported Dubai that we're living in. All is essentially tied and inextricably tied to the PPP's presence and occupation of government at this time. So this fight that I am leading and part of is a fight to ensure, not simply a legal fight, not simply an abstract fight to put over a legal argument, but employing the legal system and the legal processes to ensure that we exhaust every effort to free ourselves from the blight and wickedness of the People's Progressive Party. And for those reasons, it remains a very strong possibility that it could happen through this means. I can't swear assertively and say that this is the means, but what I'm sure of, Mark, and what I'm assured by having regard to the will of the Guyanese people and conversations that I would have with them across the length and breadth of this country, and their prayers that they offer and the sacrifices that they continue to make for their families and friends in the face of this wicked and bastardly government, is to ensure that we all do our best to see the backs of the People's Progressive Party.
City Councilor Rosie Ford, I want to thank you for joining us. I know you've had a busy day and the night is still young. Thanks very much for putting this case into context for us and Guyanese at home and abroad. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senior Council Ford. Thanks again. Thanks for being with us again. Folks, we promise you guys valid, credible information. Don't go away yet. We promise y'all. If we deliver, plant a brick on we. Turn your back to a brick and forget but we. But if we deliver, share the damn live. Smash that emoji button so that others get valid, credible information, folks. And then let me go down the road. Who vex? Share the live. Smash that emoji button. That being said, like the one give me blackout now. Smash that emoji button, folks. Share the live for us. Others must get valid and credible information. The whole Guyana don't watch us. The whole opposition don't watch us. People need information. People catching the tail. Some of them even got time in politics. They can't afford it. Too expensive. Internet, data. But them, sir, I got thing how putting food on the plate tomorrow. But those persons who we can reach via these mediums, share the live, folks. Smash that emoji button and partner with us as well. That's how we keep these programs going, because of your love, your support, and your generosity. And those of you who don't know how, you can partner with us. Here is how.
Want to keep getting the best in the ring? That's right. Yes, you can help us to keep going by partnering with us through your contributions. And it's easy. Send us a daily, weekly, or monthly donation, whichever is most convenient to you. Cash App at $in-the-ring592, Zelle and PayPal in-the-ring592@gmail.com, or WhatsApp us on 627-6963 for how to contribute via MoneyGram and Western Union and for MMG payments.
That being said, folks, that's my time and that's our program. Thanks for joining us. Last bell. Some folks on level for spell radio though. Last bell. Auntie Sandra Hanover, good to see you there. Irma Dow, Warner Garnet, Yvette Madu, Debbie, Irma, Wilma, all the mothers are here. Good to have you folks with us. Bella Mona, good to see you. Wayne Brown, Michelle Justice, Emmett, good to have you. Chisel Chipper, Sheila Boyd Child, the whole team, the whole crew, Mr. Griffith, Andrew Griffith, good to have you folks as well. Pace and power, Carmen Bailey. Share the live before you go. Smash that emoji button for us before you go, folks. Let's drive up the algorithm so the program gets into the news feeds that it needs to go in. Share the live, smash that emoji button, partner with us as well. That's the time, folks. That's the program. Stay woke. Stay woke. Pay some power.